Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Long Island Daily Roast. I'm your host, Sally Yoda.
And I'm your host, Gary Lombardi.
And today we have really special guests, Victoria and Mary Ellen. Can you please introduce yourselves?
Hey guys, Victoria. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Mary Ellen. Also nice to meet you.
So tell our audience kind of what your business entails.
So our business is called Organized Therapy. And in Organized Therapy, I like the idea of the therapy because it's just so therapeutic when you're able to have a space that is not only simplified and organized, you can find everything, but it brings a sense of clarity. I mean, how many times have we been looking for batteries? You're a father. My daughter wants to change her batteries of the toy, and she's freaking out. And now I'm like losing my mind because I can't find those batteries, right? So in a matter of minutes, I'm able to find those batteries. I'm able to change it out because I know exactly where I left it. And it's supposed to bring like that peace and calmness within you. So that's kind of where
I look up I'm always on YouTube looking at like desk setups.
Yep.
And they always have this beautiful plant by itself with a notepad and a computer. And I'm like, I wish my setup would look like that. I have like my wallets here. There's bolts hanging on my desk. I don't even know where this stuff is going. You know?
Right.
So I definitely get that.
And it's also very cost efficient. If you save time. How much time did I spend in the morning looking for my keys or looking for this or looking for that? So when you have everything in place, it just goes back to that place and then you know where it is. So really cost wise, people might be like, oh, I don't want to have, spend money, have somebody come in and organize me. But if they only knew how much money they save, because now everything is easy to get, you save time, you save money, you save aggravation. That's
in a sense, you start your day nicely.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to
So with the background that you guys have and being in this business, and yes, keys is an issue. A lot of people like misplace and they look for their keys. Do you still have that challenge or what?
Me personally, no. I have a spot for my keys every day, but
and ever since I met her, I have a spot for mine too.
That's right.
Yeah, and I've had a spot for the longest time, and I go out of my way to make sure I put them there, and
Exactly.
I hate to scramble in the morning.
I have a tray where I walk in and I dump everything that's in my pockets.
Right.
Like the rest of my house is like pristine. Like you could find anything you need. It's when it comes to my personal stuff because I don't like throwing things out. Like I have contracts from clients from 2 years ago that I don't even speak to anymore. I still keep them. So I find a place for it. I always, I buy more shelves. It's horrible. It really is. I need to speak to you guys. So
Yes. That's kind of the therapy end of it.
Yeah.
We kind of give you the idea of like, does it bring you joy?
Right.
Is it something that you need? And we go through the steps with you so that you kind of get to that point where you're like, oh, why did I keep this? You're right. I don't need it. Because sometimes it's just we have to take the emotion out of it and really look at it. Like bottom line, you don't have room for this anymore.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, but that's sentimental value. Okay, is it something that, it brings you a memory? Okay, but the memory's with you. It's not with the object.
I think also the whole idea of being organized and getting organized and putting things in its place has definitely a therapeutic value. But I think we think better. We think more organized. We less anxiety. It's just clutter is too many things. It's all energy and just it just confuses things. Where when you make it nice and smooth, it is therapeutic, and it's nice to know where things are. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
So what came from this? How'd you guys get this idea to just say, you know what, I'm gonna just. People are messy, okay? I want to clean up their lives, and I want to make it into a business.
Right. Well, Sal, I'm glad you asked. No. I was doing dentistry for 15 years.
Wow.
And after the pandemic, I had a child. I had a child during the pandemic, really. And
you had what? You had what?
During the pandemic, I had a child.
Oh, okay.
I had, and I was home And I found that like I always had like a nick, like I always had a passion for organizing and cleaning, but I never put a name to it until one day there was something on Facebook that popped up, and it said, be an organizer or something, take these courses and do this. And I said, what is an organizer? So I looked into it and I did all the classes and said, oh my God, this is what I've been doing my entire life. Moving furniture around, changing perspectives of a room, obviously cleaning out the drawers and making everything nice. And yeah, I just kind of like jumped on board. It started with like little things, my daughter's diaper bag, like simple things like that.
And what about the connection between you and Mary Ellen? And how did Mary Ellen get started?
My partner cried.
And then what brought you together?
She's actually good friends with my husband. Yeah, we met through my husband. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we just kind of like, we just traveled the journey together.
That's awesome.
And I kind of watched her in the beginning when she started doing it, and I was like, I would love to do that. I would, I like the therapy part of it. I like to, give people the freedom of being able to let go of things and really free up their life. Our ultimate goal is to live happy, joyous, and free. And those things hold us down. And sometimes it holds us down so much we can't let it go to move on to new things. So I was watching her and I was like, I love this. I'm like, can I be a partner? And she was like, okay, if you want. And I was like, let's do it. And, it's so beautiful because it's two women empowering women. Right. This is Women's Month this month. And it's just been so wonderful to see a young girl doing this and getting out and being on her own, and she's a powerful example to so many other people, and I love it, and we encourage her. Like, she'll be on a day that she'll be like, oh, we don't have that many jobs, and then I'll be like, don't worry, it'll be fine, and then a job will come in, and then she'll call me and go, you're right, and then vice versa. We lift each other up. We help each other.
Yeah.
I had a full job for 20 years that I've been doing, and I'm leaving that job to permanently do this with her.
That's amazing.
I believe in this so much. And, I'm going from a job that I did because I needed to, because I had kids and it was good hours, to something that I want to do.
Right.
And it's beautiful. It's beautiful to be able to.
There's nothing more empowering than that. When you finally get out of that cycle every single day, going to work and trying to build something, like
for somebody else.
Yeah, I was in that whole rat race for about 5 years. I worked a union job. I was working over 80 to 100 hours a week digging holes. And I noticed that I was really good in the stock market. So we were selling stock picks to people who needed to, who didn't know the market. So we built that company so big in the course of 6 months that I woke up one morning and it was raining outside. I called my shop steward. I said, I'm done. Right? After 5 years of investing my life.
Yeah.
And the feeling that you get in your chest, knowing that that's it. It's go time from here. I'm on my own. It's great. So I definitely, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So were you, Mary Ellen, also an organized person before you saw what Victoria was doing, and then liked the idea as well? Were you organized?
Okay, if you ask her, absolutely not. But for me, I was an organized mess. I knew where everything was.
She didn't know where everything was.
I knew where everything was. Yes, I am learning a lot. And the beautiful thing about it is that I can, when I know what to do, I just go ahead and do it, and I learned quickly. Like, even after I don't know how many jobs we did, every time I come home, I'm like, well, I'm getting rid of this.
Yeah,
I'm getting rid of that. I said, my kids are going to be so happy because when I go, they're going to be like, we don't even have to clean up a mess. But yes, and it's a learning process for me too. I'm loving the fact that I'm learning from her. I'm loving the fact that I'm challenging myself at my age. I'm not just sitting here saying, okay, this is what I'm doing something totally different, and I love it.
You know why I love this partnership? Because it reminds me of me and Gary's partnership. As far as like, but I don't know if you guys know the story about me and Gary. We met 9 weeks ago.
No way.
Wow.
In 9 weeks we met. He came up to me, and just a very stand-up guy. We're in Seacliff, just walking around. He comes up to me. I was at one of my clients' stores, and he says, "Who are you?" Like he walked out, he walked back in, he said, I gotta ask you, you have this great smile. He's like, who are you? Tell me about yourself. And we just got into this conversation. And the funny thing is, we were talking about an iPhone. Like, he was asking about the size of my phone for about an hour. And at the end
So
of
I
that
always
hour,
had this, to just cut it a little bit, Sal. So I always had this vision, okay, that I wanted to do a podcast. And I knew of my weaknesses and my strengths. And I said, I need a partner that offsets me and that I offset and that we work together well. And with that in mind, my consciousness had that in mind. So for whatever the reason, when we passed each other in the day, okay, I said my curiosity spiked and I started to continue, Sal. I'm sorry.
it was crazy. Like, we just started talking. He was telling me about that his real estate, the ventures that he's been on. He's owned antique stores. He's a serial entrepreneur himself. I run a marketing agency, and I run about 5 or 6 different ventures. But we just said, you know what, let's have a meeting. It was so good of a conversation that we were like, you know what, let's meet up next week at your house. And he invited me to his home, and we just talked. Within a week, we developed a platform, and then we started shooting podcasts, and we're here now. And it's grown so much in 8 weeks.
Wow,
The community's loving it, and it's like me and him have a really good bond. So that's why we made a whole podcast about partnership, because it's true. You don't need a lifelong relationship to find the perfect partner. Sometimes like the bells just ring, and you're just it's destiny at the end of the day. When it's successful, it makes sense. Like it happened for a reason.
It's funny because we actually, I was watching her and we, like you said, what are your strengths and what are you, and I love that Gary said that. And yeah, both we were like, oh my gosh, because one of the things was that I kept saying, no, you need to call back people, because we're friends, we talk every day. So I was like, oh, how'd it go today? And then I'd be like, oh, you need, and I realized she was overwhelmed. Like, she's got 2 kids, a husband, and I said, why don't I take on this end of the business? I can make the phone calls. I can do all that. This is where I'm good at. I know I can do that. I can organize that great. Like, I'm like Salvador. There's certain areas that are very organized and don't need, So, and I knew she was overwhelmed, and I took the lead to ask her.
And it's wonderful that you take the pressure off each other by having someone that you feel you can rely on or throw the ball to if you're overwhelmed, and type of thing. It's a great comfort. It's worth, giving up some of the business to a good partner.
Of course.
Yeah.
And when it's somebody that I trust her with my life, I would trust her, she would trust me with her kids, I mean, when you have that kind of a relationship and you get to foster it and you put that it's 2 people that really love what they're doing on top of it, it's a win-win.
Yeah, you guys are unstoppable.
So and you know what? I've heard the term, and I'm curious, you guys probably have heard it also, but what you think about it, feng shui.
Oh, yes, of course.
Right? So isn't that something that underlying what you guys do and keeping that flow of energy smooth and organized, and so the thinking is that people think better, because of that organization and that flow. What's your take on that?
Well, there's a lot of anxiety from even all the people that I've worked with. There's a lot of anxiety when you're just disorganized, when you have too much stuff that's just weighing you down. When your things are taking over your life rather than you living your life, that's where it becomes a problem. Life becomes unmanageable.
Tell them about the office, even my office.
Oh yeah.
Like, I had my office a certain way. She came in, she's like, oh, you're never going to be productive this way. And she turned it all around. And I walked in and I was like, oh my God, this feels great. It was flowed better. People felt better about coming in. And I didn't even know. I didn't know until, you have somebody that has the creativity, the creative. I'm the muscle. She's a creative. and it works out good. Right.
Good.
So to touch on a little bit of like the business end, like I'm looking at the before and afters, right? And like the clutter is insane from the befores, and it looks amazing on the after. Now, do you guys also do like design work where, like, let's say they need a shelf put in, right? Do you guys go and do the color scheme, and it's more like design work as well, or it's just like decluttering?
Yeah, we would do anything from painting hanging. I mean, we also have a carpenter that works with us
Oh,
as well.
awesome.
That they have to be like,
Well,
built in and stuff like that. But yeah, I do like custom closet builds. I'm actually doing. You'll be seeing Mary Ellen's closet come Monday. But I do like the custom closet builds where you can hang the clothes, get the shelving and things like that, and the drawers.
That's
But
yeah.
everything is creating systems that work and that will stick.
And you prepare and you help people move by being organized and organized. I'm looking at your description here. So there's a lot that you do. You know.
We actually just unpacked an elderly lady, the sweetest lady. We helped her. She moved from Queens to Long Island, and she was by herself. She had family, but they're all spread out, and she needed help unpacking. So she called me. She goes, "Can you just help me?" And we said, "Okay, we'll come in for a few hours." We actually were there 5 hours?
5 hours, yeah.
5 hours, and she was completely out of boxes. Like that to me is the freedom. Now you're able, because you're already stressed out with the move.
Yeah, it was always hard.
People, that's one of the most stressful things is moving, and then having to be in this new environment. And she's like, I woke up, I was like, I didn't know where I was scared. So when we are able to take these out of the boxes and make it feel like home again, it just gives them a sense of ease.
And we also talked through her anxiety. Right. I mean, she just kept saying, I feel like this is too much. And we were able to sit down and say, you're doing okay. You sit there. Right. We'll do this and do that, and gave her a little bit, which helped the family, because the family knew she was anxious. They didn't know what to do with her. So, we were able to bring the compassion and the softness in to make them feel more comfortable. And then at the same time, as we were going through stuff, we were like, well, what about this? It broke. Do you still want? And she let go of a lot, not as much as we probably thought would have happened, but she got rid of a lot of stuff. And one of those things that's good to tell people is that if you are moving, have somebody like us come in before you move, and you downsize, and then you move, because she spent money
moving
to move stuff that she then eventually decided to donate.
Yeah.
And a box here, a box there is a lot less money when it comes to the move. So, that's what we try to advocate for people that are moving, to have us kind of be there at the beginning to pack it for you, and then now we know where you want everything, so unpacking is much easier as well.
So now, have you ever had a client that would not throw anything out? Because it's got to happen.
Oh yeah. It gets to the point where it's like we have to. We do everything very gently, because we don't go. A lot of people hold on to things very, very tightly, and I find when we come in and we change a space for them, they already feel a sense of. So the next time we come in, it's like, all right, do I really need that? And I find that slowly, little by slowly, they
pushing its way out.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen right away, but every once in a while we come back and it's like, do I really need that? Do I really need that?
We've definitely had the people that came in and said, "Now I'm not getting rid of anything. I just want it organized." And we're like, okay, But as she said, once you make it clean, and a lot of stuff, we were like, "Do you want it?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm not sure." We put it in a not sure pile. By the time we gave them a clean area, they looked at the not sure pile and they were like, "Oh, you don't want that. Oh, no, you could get rid of that." And it was like, wow. See, so somebody's outlook could change just in that time that we're there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's so when people clutter and get overwhelmed by clutter, they get into this mode of not being able to make a decision. And that is binding, that really holds you down. And I think once they start to, and you help to clear a space, whether they're making a decision,
right.
And once they continue to make decisions, they start to roll with that, and then their life opens up and frees up, because sometimes by just I don't want to get rid of this, I like this, and then they've gotten to that mode, they don't decide on anything. And what you're talking about now liberates them in a lot of ways, and I think decision making is very important. What do you think?
Yeah, I also I was reading a book about how a lot of people live in clutter because it makes them comfortable.
Yeah,
they like to have the walls up. There was actually something I was reading about a lady that came in and organized this office setting, and he was so used to the chaos that when he took away the chaos, he was now thinking about, oh God, all the problems that I have at home or all the problems I have here. He was kind of using the stuff
as an
And
excuse.
Right.
Something to keep
Like,
his
I
mind
don't wanna
on.
look- Right.
Yeah, and it's so true. Yes, yeah.
And a lot of people
Yeah.
do that in different
Or
ways.
it's just a wall that keeps people away from you.
Yeah.
Like if my house is a mess, I don't have to invite anybody in.
Right.
You know, and I can be ashamed of that. And then once you're in that shame, it's very hard to get out of it until you can allow somebody to come in and see there's nothing to be ashamed about.
Right.
This is life. It happens to everybody. You know, there's no judgment. And that's very important for people to understand that we have seen it all. You know, and there is no judgment. And in the short time that I've done it, I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
And you know what? I can understand because I can have compassion and understand that it's almost like it gets out of control and you don't even know it. You know, you leave a pile of papers here and that's not a big deal. And then a week later, it's 2 piles. And then before you know it, you're looking around and your house is full and you're overwhelmed. And what do you say? I won't say the curse word. You say the F. I have the F. I'm not going to do anything.
Now it's too much. Now it's just too much to deal with.
So
you know what? It's easier to just
keep piling it up
and try to tackle it. So it's a wonderful thing, a service that you guys offer to get someone out of that whole mindset and to give them also areas of how to. Sometimes people just don't know how to organize and get rid of stuff also. So you help there. And that you can also farm out if they need a built-in closet, shelves, counter, cupboards, whatever it may be, and which all adds to the
sometimes you just don't have the space, so you got to create it. You know, that's when you come in and say, okay, well, we have this space, we can use something there and create shelving, you know, whatever it.
And we've done stuff as simple as helping people open mail. Right. You know, there are people who have a hard time that get anxious about making phone calls, about, you know, opening their mail, about paying a bill. You know, so sometimes you just need to be there, just to be there and just say, it's okay, I'll be
supportive
for you to open it. And then we say, okay, it's something you have to pay, let's put it on this shelf. And then, because as you said, I love Gary said, people don't get, like sometimes you just don't get taught that. If you weren't modeled it, if you didn't see it in your family or nobody ever told you, how do you learn how to
you just don't know how to organize.
You just watch your family. So if you came from a family where your mom just kept piling everything up, chances are that's, you know, and it's very interesting to find that when we do and you talk to people, it is something that is kind of passed down that I grew up in this chaos and now I'm perpetuating it.
Every day.
You think they would go the opposite. You would think that if they lived in
well,
that.
You know what's funny about that is because, like, so my parents were very, very neat, right? If my room wasn't when I lived at home, if my room wasn't clean, I got it, you know, because I was the first bedroom when you walked into the house. So if my door was open, she was afraid that if she had guests over, they'd see the whole house clean and her son's room is a mess, right? So I did pretty well cleaning my room. My sister's room was always a wreck, but the way I kept my room clean was whenever there was a paper or a calculator or something hanging around, I stuffed it into my desk, in my drawer. So I got into this habit of, you know what, I don't need this on my desk, let me stuff it in my drawer. And if you look in my drawers till today, they're a wreck. I can't find anything. But that's my place where, like, all right, this can't be here. I got to put it there.
Right.
You know, and then like once every 6 months, I'll need something and I'll dump it all out and try to organize it. It'll be organized for about a week and then it gets back to that point.
And to that point, that's what we're going to say. Like, we talk to you and say, okay, what's going to work for you? Because what works for me and works for Vicky, we might have great ideas. We might say, oh, you could do this. And then you're going to say, I won't keep that. And the idea is that we want you to keep it up. We don't, you know, we're not doing this so that, you know, we want you to be able to work with it.
Yeah, well, it's like a life coach.
And say, you know,
it's like a life coach though, really, because like you're gonna listen to somebody you're paying for more than you're gonna listen to yourself.
Yes.
You know.
Correct. Yes.
So.
Correct. It's true. Yeah, if like certain people like the, you know, like the whole decantering of like rice and flour. It's like some people just don't want to keep up with that. It's like I really gotta go based off what works for you. You know, because it might look pretty on the shelf, but yeah, it's not something that you're going to keep up with, which becomes more overwhelming, which makes it more another step. And, you know, like I'm trying to simplify your life, not
we're not making it that now you don't have everything all nice and pretty and you have anxiety over that. Right. You know, if you're not a person who takes stuff and takes a file and puts it into a container to put it up nice, don't try to be that if you don't think you could do that, you know. But you could also, if you like it, you can change and you could be that way. You have the freedom, but it's a lot of really listening to people and learning what they want.
Yes.
And giving them ideas, but then also really ultimately you have to listen to them and make it right for them.
Of course.
So you need to be a bit of a psychologist, understand human nature, and I think that really underlies the success of your business and for future growth. I think that's a great place to be, because you're right. You can go in there and say, this is what you do and do and do it, but until you open that person up and allow them to start to make decisions on their own, whether they start to make them by following you, by saying, all right, and you push it out the door, and then they do it. But, there's very important that you're empathetic to their needs, right?
100%. Compassion is very huge for my company. Absolutely.
So how has your business been responding in the last year? Have you been getting referrals increasing? Are you happy with the business?
Oh my God! Well, the business is great. It's been a roller coaster. It's up and down because of COVID. But I found
2 days about COVID. COVID was good because people were home.
Yeah.
So they were looking around and they're like, oh my gosh, look at that. Your closet stuff fell out. Oh,
Yeah.
You were hyper focused on your home. But the bad part was a lot of people didn't want you in there.
Right.
So it was great that they saw that they needed the help, but then they were afraid to have anybody come in.
Right.
So really, when COVID was a lot of friends and people who knew us and were not like as we did part, but it wasn't like as much.
Right. I would say,
and I think it's slowly starting to open up more, where people are still looking around and seeing stuff, and now they're more open to getting things done.
And your projection, how do you see moving forward? Your plan to move forward, to grow, to expand? What's your projection on that?
Man, I am just excited for the future, because I feel like there's just so much. I was just telling her, I feel like we're not even like at the the tip of the iceberg. I feel like I don't even see it yet, And I'm just excited every day, because I know there's just so much potential between us that sky's the limit.
Yeah, we're gonna boom.
I feel it. I really do.
You know what? Right, Sal? As long as you feel it, you have the mechanics.
I envision it. I see it. The vision board, like I see it. Like I am ready. I'm ready.
Got to have the vision first, and the propulsion of your heart and passion, and there's no stopping.
We know there's going to be times that we're going to be like, oh man, are we going to be okay? Is it going to make it? We're going to have a week that maybe we don't have any jobs, and we're going to be a little like, ooh. However, I know that it's going to be okay. We're going to have, every. January was very slow.
Right.
Very
the
slow.
Holidays.
So she called me a couple. I don't know. And I said, it's very slow for everything. For everything, it's slow. So we also have to take into account for that.
A lot of businesses didn't even survive. Slow or flat out.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10 though, Gary, they don't survive because they don't have that drive anymore. People they get a slow month, like you said. And like I have a marketing agency, believe me, we have those months where we're like, this is not good,
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll have 4 or 5 new clients one month, and the following month either they can't afford it or something happened within their business that now they're not making money, and it goes down the chain. But if you have that electricity in you to continue to move forward, and I mean you guys are full of smiles, so I don't see anybody saying no to you guys. So I think I think if you guys continue to go and reach out, get new clients. How are you guys getting new clients now? Is it mostly referrals?
Referral. We're on Angie's list.
Okay.
We're on Angie's list. Referrals, obviously, and
Angie's list is kind of interesting.
Like the Facebook ads, things like that. Getting that Facebook.
And they've been working through Facebook.
I have been. Yeah.
Good. That's awesome. I mean, it's crazy because you could tell from your website.
Well,
the website is clean.
Is from I should shout out. My sister-in-law she works for Instagram.
Oh, really?
And she knows all the ins and outs of.
This website is incredible. This literally tells you what you do.
That I loved, and I said, "Go with this," and she nailed it.
Yeah, no, it looks great.
Thank you.
Looks great.
And the only thing is that you occasionally get somebody who's like, oh, that's a high price, whatever. And what we're trying to get them to realize, you're getting two people, and also, it's gonna pay off in the end.
Yeah.
And it's hard for people to see that, because if you don't see if you're getting a product, you get to see the product. When it's a service, you don't really appreciate it until after it's done.
Yeah. You know what I've noticed too with
it's done, they're like, oh my God, we want you back. Can you do this route? How many people we started with their cupboard, and then they were like, oh, okay, now I have my bedroom. And then
come over here, let me show you.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Yeah. Yeah. Just to once you break that ice again, it's like we talked about before, they start making that decision, affirmative decision, and they continue.
Yeah. You know what the biggest thing too I've noticed with clients is, you know what you're worth. You know what it costs you to get something done. You know the results that you're going to have for them. They don't know that yet.
Right.
But now the key thing is, though, for a business owner, we're in no position to then justify our price.
Right.
The second you start justifying, you're already losing the sales call. You know what I mean? It's because you know what you're worth. So if they want to take the risk and you have proof of concept, I'm looking at your work.
There, right.
As long as you're showing that, and they speak to you guys, I don't see how they wouldn't move forward. You guys are very straight up, stand up people. You guys keep up with social media too, which I really appreciate.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't even see the post until I went on the website. I saw the post about the podcast. It's really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I said to her, I don't think that's when they're going to be doing it though.
No, that's all right.
We're doing like a pre-thing so that now we can put on today. Okay, now you gotta watch it tomorrow.
Stay tuned.
So now, what would you say to a small business or an entrepreneur just getting started?
Don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle.
Oh, that was a good one.
That is a good one. I like that one.
There you go. 5 minutes before the miracle. How many times and she almost did. She almost went back to dentistry. She was going to go back to dentistry. And I said, do not do it. You have creativity. You have what it takes. Don't doubt yourself and then go back to doing something that she would be great at. And she would definitely go far, but that she wouldn't have loved because she was afraid.
Right.
And she would have been disappointed in herself that she didn't take. She would have been disappointed also in herself that she didn't take on that challenge.
And as an older person, don't have regrets. Don't have regrets. If it's something that you can do now and it's not going to hurt anybody, of course, then do it. Then just, I was 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just do it. Don't even,
and this should be a great platform for you guys also to get your name out there and what you do. Having this conversation is invaluable, right?
Yes, thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, thank you also.
You guys should really, you should showcase on YouTube, I think, because I'm extremely interested.
I was just thinking, it was so funny. I was like, you know what? It would be really cool to do vlogs together.
Yeah. You should vlog the whole experience, what it's like before and after. Simple, just like you said, the decantering. I'm very weird with little things like that. I'll buy these little organizers for wallet, phone, watch. That's it. That's all it holds. It's this big, but it only holds those 3 things. It's the size of my desk. It only has 3 uses. But I'm weird like that. So the decantering thing I've seen when they do it in the refrigerators.
Yes.
That's what I'm really interested in. You know how they have, I don't know if you see that girl on TikTok. She's awesome.
Oh yeah, they're all over the place. Right.
She puts the cans in there. They're all facing the same way.
Yeah.
The cheese is perfect. The milk, everything is the same height. The water bottles, they feed themselves. I love that.
Yep.
It's great.
Yep. Absolutely.
So,
hey, listen.
Tell us about what was the biggest job that you guys have done, the messiest, the biggest cleanup,
and the best payoff.
Yeah, we definitely have. I'm gonna have to say
we did have. I'm thinking we doing it.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of clutter.
There was a point where there was a hallway of clutter on both sides. It was just a pathway to get to the next room.
It was definitely
But a lot of it was paper. A lot of it was more of
But and in that one, it was definitely getting that person to have enough giving them a little bit of self-esteem, and sometimes it was just a tad to be like, we care about you, and we want to see you living better. You deserve to live better. And some people have never even heard that. Like that to them, that was like, what? And I'm like, no, you don't deserve to live like this. You can have, and it was taking down the walls for that person.
Very touching moment and words.
They only had walls up because they just didn't. It was easier for them to be in their little world. Their world was very small.
Right.
It was very small. And when you opened up their world, and and it was amazing. Even the house breathed.
Yeah.
The house was not breathing. The house was all, you could feel it. Like you walked in the house and you were like you could feel the stuffiness.
Yeah, it's very true.
We were able to take everything out, air it out, open the windows. You know what? She repainted her house.
Yeah.
She redid her house. She redid her kit. Like once she got rid of everything, she felt like, wow, now, I mean, I think that was our biggest one. But then, she went back and we helped her paint. We did. Right? That was
I was going to say, I mean, but it started with one room.
Yes.
Started with one room to say, wow, I really enjoy this room. I think it was her bedroom.
Yes, it was a bedroom. We wanted her to have a safe place to at least, so that at night she would go to a safe room that was organized and was beautiful because she deserved it. She was a beautiful person.
Right.
She is a beautiful person.
Right.
That deserved to have a place to be free and safe and kind. And and we've done, and she's even done some strange things like driving somebody to their new home.
Yeah, I just drove somebody to Nashville. They were moving from New York City, from Manhattan to Nashville, and she had a dog and she needed help getting the dog down, and she didn't want to fly with the dog because he was too big to stay up on top of her. Mm-hmm. And I said, listen, I will drive you. Not a problem. So I got her in the car with the dog, packed the bags, and we went to Nashville.
Wow. That's service.
That is that's service right there.
That is service.
Yes. Yeah. And how great did the lady feel? She was an older woman, and she had another woman with her, and she had somebody that she trusted and that she felt comfortable with, and that's invaluable. That's invaluable. Like when you would get in a car with somebody and go
halfway to the country,
across country, and know that you're in a good environment, and we really pride ourselves, I know you do, on being trustworthy and honest and reliable.
Yeah.
If they were going to do it, we're going to do it.
Does it ever feel like when you walk into some of these houses, like that they're like hoarding? Like, does it feel like that, or it's like, because I'm imagining this in my head.
Nobody, that is not a word we use.
I would never use that word
that
to
has
a
bad connotation to
but,
it most of the time.
But
there are situations where people accumulate more than they need.
And I think they know. They're definitely aware of their situation. But it's just allowing them to breathe. I think that's the biggest thing, because they just feel like so weighed down by what they have. And
they're weighed down is exactly right. They are emotionally weighed down by the stuff. Yes. The stuff is energy also, and it weighs them down, and they're not making affirmative decisions, and it just compounds it, and it continues to weigh them down. Yes. Absolutely. So what you're doing is you're opening the door little by little and getting them moving forward, and the therapy part of your business is wonderful. It is organized therapy,
Yes. Thank you.
So, but like you said before, like you do like room by room, and they see the transformation,
right?
And then they like, you know what, my bedroom looks great. Let me just clean up the bathroom a little bit. When I wake up in the morning, I want to find my toothbrush. And and then that's pretty much how your model works.
Right. Well, think about like you start your day. Like you start your day tripping over something. You're going to be kind of in a little twisted mood.
Yeah.
But if you find like you glide to your cup of coffee, you glide to the you're able just to go with the flow in a way without having to kind of like, maneuver through things and shuffling, and you start your day better, and then your hopes that it would just continue.
Right.
And
that's all a change, and like sometimes that's even uncomfortable for people. Like how, when you're comfortable with banging something and hitting something, and, so we tell people that, it might be a little uncomfortable, for the first couple of days when you're getting up and you're like looking around your house and seeing that it's all organized. And that's okay. It's all right to have that feeling, and don't worry, it'll be okay. because a lot of it is a psychological part to it. There's a lot, like, especially for people who accumulate more than they need to, there's a total psychological thing to it. And that's, sometimes we can get to that and sometimes we can't. Sometimes they need a lot more therapy for that. There's people that we've been trying to get into them, their family members have called us or whatever, and they're not willing to let go. If they're not willing, we can't even go in.
Right.
We cannot go in. If they're not willing, it's a waste of your money, and we wouldn't do it.
Right.
You have, usually people who are calling us, it's because they know that they're willing to.
They need to make the change, and
something has to change,
right?
Because it's not working anymore.
Right.
So if there's
a family member does it, because then if they're not willing, we can come in, but they're going to say, no, I want that. No, I want that. No, I need that. No,
well, it's true. I mean, we keep them on task. A lot of the times, like, they're like, okay, what about over here? I'm like, no, come back over here. Let's focus on this first. Because they get thrown off there. And and we have to kind of sit down and say, okay, let's focus on this one area and get that done first, and then we can move on to the next area. So we're kind of like, just helping them just to stay on task, which makes the job go smoother. Because otherwise, you can take 3 days on cleaning out one drawer, But as we keep them going, it just
or they'll walk away like, oh, I can't do this, it's too much, and you're like, okay, you can walk away and take a break. You're coming back, and you have to finish, because a lot of that is not being able to stay on task.
See, I like this conversation because I'm pretty much asking you questions about myself, because I'm really like bad at this. When we moved out of my studio apartment, I had enough stuff to fill up my 3-bedroom house that I just got. So
in your studio?
In my studio, yeah. It's unbelievable. Like, when I thought about it, I'm like, now this is gonna fill up 2 rooms. I had a bed, some stuff. Then I had my desk, a safe, a couch, 2 closets, 2 desks, 7 drawers, and then I realized that there was a storage room that I used to put stuff.
Right.
That was like my throw the stuff out of my apartment type thing. So when it came time to move, we brought everything over, and I had more stuff in my basement after I filled up everything upstairs. And now I had this massive clutter in my basement. I'm like, I just got a new house, and now, like, I'm stuck with this mess. So I went to Home Depot. I bought some of those industrial shelves, and I'm like, let me organize this for once. I started getting a panic attack 30 minutes in because I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what I needed. And, come today, I'm halfway done. I left half the stuff on the floor, and I walked upstairs. I said, I'm not looking back at it yet. I'm not ready. I had to mentally prepare for it. So it's true, like what you're saying. It really is, like, it's a service that a lot of people need.
Right. Right. And how many times do we, people spend money on a storage unit?
Oh, yeah.
A storage unit just to store things.
And never go back to it sometimes.
That go to die, right. That just goes there. You have no idea what's in it. It's been sitting there for a couple of years, and you're spending $500 a month just to keep it. And that's, that's money that can be that go towards.
They built a show on auctioning off storage.
Yes,
Right? People that never went back, they couldn't make that decision.
They never made, right. And you know what? And I'm telling you, half the time, the stuff that's in there, you do not need. You do not need. If you're putting it in a storage, we're pretty good about being like, if you haven't used it for a season, like it was all summer and you didn't use a bag that you would only use in the summer, then don't use that. Then
I guess some people have, like, in their mind that one thing that they threw out, that one day they said, oh, if I had that, and if that happened to them, forget about it. They're just hard to break that habit.
Then think about the times, like, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to fit into that dress. And I'm like, you know what? If you really do lose the weight, congratulations. Buy yourself something brand new because you deserve it.
You deserve it, yeah.
But for now, get rid of it.
Or with that whole thing, I grew up in my family where my dad, I'm not joking with you, had a whole glass jar full of nuts and bolts and that were left over from a piece of thing that he put together, and he would always go, there's a piece left, which we were all like, probably an important one, Dad. And he had this huge jars and jars in the basement filled with nuts and bolts, and because he said, I'm not going to go out and buy one. I know, and he used to make
that's okay.
And find the one that he wanted. He would not go to the So, and that was a different era. Like for them, they grew up in the Depression. When they had stuff, they kept it, And a lot of people, depending on how you grew up,
Right.
were you taught that you needed to save things, that it was, you had to have your great grandma's china, and now you're looking at that china going, I would never use it, or use it as your everyday plate. How about your good china used as your everyday plate? Because every day you are working.
Gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Like, how would you feel like if every day you pulled out good china and sat down and ate dinner on your good, you would be like, wow, you feel good. You're sitting down, you're not in front of the TV, you're actually sitting at a table that's cleared off.
It gets passed down as an heirloom, that good china.
Yeah, right. And so everybody puts it up on in your china cabinet or whatever, and that's not giving you joy. Giving you joy is having the memory of eating the food on that plate and saying, wow, every day I'm worth, the good china. I'm worth the good china. I don't, yeah, but we don't do that for ourselves.
Just
not the paper plates or the everyday plates. We have to have, we different kind of plates. We got paper plates, we got everyday plates, and then we got our good china that we'll use. And realistically, you never use it.
And realistically, everybody's always trying to get rid of their china now, and nobody wants that china. They don't want to.
I have a cabinet in my basement that came with my house, and it was like from the 1950s. Like we just redid the whole house, but we kept it because it was a nice hardwood table, and then it had a matching china cabinet. I'm like, maybe I'll use it, right? It's in the basement. I bought a brand new table. I got everything brand new, and this thing's sitting in my basement. Thing weighs 1,000 pounds, and I don't know how to get it out of here.
It's so true.
Oh,
it's so true.
yeah.
I had a client that wouldn't get rid of her table that she didn't even like, but she goes, "But I might not be able to buy another one." I'm like, "Why?"
Well, that's a big part of it.
It's like they feel like it's just anxiety of, can I get it again, or can I get
a scarcity mindset? Yeah.
Yes.
That's a big part of that also. Scarcity. They feel there's not enough, and what I have, I need to hold on. That's my security.
Right, especially in these times, people will tell you, oh, wood's very expensive. You're not going to be able to get wood, So then people are like that. Oh, I'm not going to give this away. What if I can't get it? Like you said, another one, and you're like, but you don't use it. Like sometimes I know we must have a look at our face, but you don't use it. And then we go, okay, but we're going to keep it anyway.
That holds valuable space. So it's like, for me, it's like I look at space as value. Real estate.
Yes. Like, that's good real estate. You don't want to put that there.
Yes. Put things out that you love, that you want to see every day, that brings you joy. Like Marie Kondo would say, just things that you wake up and you're like, wow, I want to see that. I want to,
You know what? You're so right. And I had a lot of statues my father used to collect, and I had them downstairs in the basement. I said, you know what? I'm going to pass. And these statues, someone's going to be pulling them out and say, oh, look at this. And I got a couple of cabinets, and I put them all out there to be enjoyed.
Yes.
Enjoyed. Yep.
Yeah.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
So true.
Yeah.
So one question before we start to wrap this podcast up. If there's one thing you can say to a future client, what would it be?
Future client. Relax. Don't worry about it. We got you. If we're coming in, we're going to come in and help you. We're not coming
we're here
in,
to help. I guess
it's not, and be honest with yourself. And if you need the help, there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's something that a lot of people don't have skills for. And like Gary said, when he didn't know what to do, he went to somebody who had qualifications that could help him.
Right.
So if it's something that you don't know how to do, we can help. Yeah, we can help you.
Right.
And do you guys offer a free consultation?
Yes.
Great. So you guys are hearing it here first.
Yeah, locally. If we have to go out east, we have to charge because it's just the gas.
Especially with gas.
Yeah, gas right now. That's why Zoom and Skype is the best thing ever.
Local.
Yeah. All right, so you heard it here first.
We're also looking to get into with real estate, because we feel like a lot of times the real estates go into a home and somebody says either, oh, my mom passed away, we don't know what to do with all this stuff. Here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I have to stage my house. We can help you stage your house. Or, so we feel like
That's a
real
good point.
estate, if we could get in with somebody that would be able to recommend us.
Well, they're always the first basis, whether you're moving in or out. They're always the first basis.
And I have a last thought also. what about when you go into a house that has so much stuff, getting someone in to do a house sale and get the client to make some money and do that?
Just I have a lady that does that. I would recommend a lady.
Tag sale, right? You
can do that too. Estate sale, right?
So a lot of options you guys offer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the biggest one that you offer is, you know what, no pressure, and we understand your emotional attachments, and we're willing to work with that patiently and lovingly, right?
Yeah. It's all about, and I want clients to know, like, it's about living today. You know, living rather than living for your stuff. It's living just to, like, you know, like have a sense to just get out and live a little bit more, you know, like rather than feel so bound by all the things that you own. You know, and I think that's really helpful. At least I found that it's just a lot of people hold on to a lot of things because they think that it brings them joy.
Yes.
You know, but reality
if you really test them on it and be like, oh, so where'd you get that? Oh, I don't know, but I know I really like it.
What's the best form for our audience to contact you guys?
Well, I guess you can give me my telephone number, my website. I have also my info on my website.
Okay, we'll have all that in the description below.
Instagram, perfect. Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, I'll tag your Facebook, your Instagram, and your website in the description box down below. Other than that, I want to thank you guys so much for coming on our show. We really enjoyed this one.
Thank you.
Oh, we love you guys.
Yeah,
thanks, guys.
the story was great.
You guys are great. Yeah.
No, we'd love to have you guys on again too. So feel free to always reach out.
And you know, give us some feedback. The response that you get from this, we'd love to hear from you.
Yes, definitely.
You know,
Yeah,
it was a pleasure meeting you guys, and I'm sure we'll catch up again and hopefully do this again.
All right.
I hope so.
So.
And Salvador, you better get on it.
I am. You guys are gonna get a call from me this week.
Let us see what we can do for you. Don't worry, we'll be nice. Don't worry.
All right. So thank you guys for tuning in to episode 9 of the Long Island Daily Roast. I'm your host, Sal Liotta.
And I'm your host, Gary Lombardi.
And thank you, Victoria and Mary Ellen, for coming on the show. And we will see you guys in the next one.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Have a good one.